I'm pretty sure everyone here has heard of Drake. I mean, I definitely have. He is my favorite guy. For anybody who hasn't heard of him, though, Drake is an English sea captain, explorer, and slave trader. Wait, no, that can't be right. Drake is a Canadian rapper, singer, songwriter, and entrepreneur. He's famous for such hit songs as Old Town Road and the Scooby-Doo theme. Now, what he's more famous for is being one of the biggest sports cursors in history. Now, there are plenty of famous cursors, so what makes him so different? Well, he's special because he transcends sports like no other curse. We'll take a look at a few of his victims and you'll quickly see just how far-reaching his cursing power is. It starts with his first victim, the Kentucky basketball team. Now, Kentucky won a national championship in 2012 and gifted a custom ring to Drake, and after that, their fate was sealed. Forget making it to the NCAA tournament the next year, they were knocked out in the first round of the National Invitation Tournament. And how many national championships have they won since then? Well, that'll be a big fat ring-shaped 0. Then there are, of course, his beloved hometown Toronto Raptors, for whom he became a global ambassador in 2013. However, statistical analysis shows that the team scores more points in games that Drake doesn't attend, and his prolonged absence from Raptors games even started their playoff winning streak last season. But this goes beyond the sport of basketball. In 2015, Serena Williams was hoping a US Open win would complete her collection of all 4 tennis Grand Slams in a calendar year. Unfortunately for her, Drake happens to be a pretty big fan and was regularly in attendance that year, and she ended up losing to 300-1 underdog Roberta Vinci. Does anybody here remember Conor McGregor, the wildly successful face of mixed martial arts? Well, the poor guy posted this picture, and 4 rounds later into what would be his last fight, for now, according to his official retirement, he tapped out. That's right, he took a picture with Drake, was forced into retirement. Now, soccer, actually, it's football, has got the worst of the curse. In just 1 year, Drake has been responsible for Arsenal missing out on a place in the Champions League, a hugely important tournament both financially and for prestige, has gotten Manchester City knocked out of the Champions League, and then postponed PSG's title celebrations by 2 weeks, also causing their biggest loss in 10 years, and adding on top of that, losing them the French Cup final. He's also responsible for Dortmund missing out on the German league title, and all of this happened in a matter of weeks, as Drake toured Europe on his assassination vacation tour. The only thing being killed were the hopes and dreams of millions of sports fans. It all got so out of hand that Italian side AS Roma released an official statement declaring that all of their players were banned from taking pictures with Drake as they tried to claim a Champions League spot in the Italian league this season. Can the curse be weaponized? Not exactly. This season, Manchester United tried to use the Drake curse in their matchup against Barcelona by unearthing an old photo of Drake in a Barcelona shirt, but the curse doesn't work that way. It has, however, already been working against Barcelona, seeing them being knocked out by comeback wins in both of the last 2 years in the Champions League, most famously in Liverpool going 4-0 down after being up 3-0 following the first leg. Anfield is a fortress, you'll never walk alone. Now, it's only right that at this point you would start asking yourself, but why is Drake the biggest sports curse in history? And I think I might just be able to answer that. Now, the more devoted Drake fans, such as myself, would be aware of the curious fact that Drake used to be in a wheelchair. That's right, in the early years of his life, Drake was confined to this wheelchair, having no use of his legs, and the last we saw of him was as a child actor. Suddenly, a few years later, Drake reappears with full use of his legs, and now he's a successful music artist and rapper. Listen, I don't know if Drake made a deal with the devil, used black magic, contacted the underworld, or practiced voodoo. What I do know is that most people in wheelchairs don't suddenly start walking again, and most people who use supernatural powers to get what they want end up paying a pretty hefty price in return. Now, could it be that Drake chose to become a sports curse in return for the use of his legs and a successful music career? Could he be tasked with actively trying to derail as many successful franchises with this curse as a pawn of the devil in return for his new life? Now, I can't answer those questions myself, but he definitely can, so I suggest that you all go and ask him. For anybody still not convinced, I haven't even started on football yet. Alabama were looking to make history with a team that saw 10 players drafted this year, which was good for the most out of any school, and Nick Saban certainly wasn't new to winning national championships. But something else was new that year. The Crimson Tide's new celebrity fan who helped Clemson go on to crush the Tide 44-16. And I still hear doubters, but wait for this. Drake, much like a cyber-based security program in a film based 200 years in the future, has become sentient, self-aware, and he is not using his powers for good. The NFL Championship weekend had two great matchups, but Drake was intent in spoiling all the fun and sported a shirt featuring all four teams. Now what happened next? Both games went into overtime. In regular time, none of the teams won, and since 1970, only 6 championship games have gone into overtime. That's 6 out of 96, which is, well, 6%. Never have both games in the same year gone into overtime. Coincidence? I highly doubt it. Messing up the once great NFL playoff format where we now have to listen to Chiefs fans whine about a rule nobody would have cared about if the Patriots had lost the game. Now, he's tested his power in his appropriately named Assassination Vacation Tour of Europe, and it looks as if there will be no end to this. That is, unless we put him back in his wheelchair and end this curse. You know what to do, people. Get it done. And just in case literally the world's biggest idiot is watching this video and I end up getting indicted for it, do not attempt to break Drake's legs because I said it would end his sports curse.